So this is my experience. I want to let you know exactly how I got my AC fixed and what symptoms I had, so you would know what to look for if you're having the same issues. So if you have a compressor that doesn't have a clutch, and it's a, I forget the name. It's an internal clutch inside the compressor, because there's only there's two things holding on to the. I mean, there's two points of power that go to the compressor. One is for there's a sensor on top. That is the pressure regulator. That pressure regulator regulates the whatever flow, the flow, just the flow. It regulates the flow. That's what that sensor does. And then there's a low side pressure sensor that's inside the compressor, and then there's a connection. Those are the two things. But if your compressor is more than 5 years, you have to change it. Those compressors don't last more than 5 years. That's just what it is. That's the way it's made. It's an internal. It wears out over time. And if you overfill, when let's say you buy those cans and you just at AutoZone and you put it in there and you fill it up and you overfill it by just a little bit, you could pop the seals and the compressor will no longer function. It will break down. That's also a problem. So what I did, that's because I was troubleshooting. I didn't want to spend the money to fix the compressor. I mean, I was trying to fix alternative ways to fix it. I didn't want to pay for a compressor, because I went to AutoZone. It was almost $400. I went to other places. It was like $700. I bought it on eBay, the compressor, for $160. You know, $160 is not a lot. It's fucking cheap. But does it work? Well, I bought it and I put it in there, and it's been almost a week already. And that shit, I mean, I only bought one can of the 12 ounce can, and I put all of it in there, and it worked. But I didn't film the repair. It's super simple to repair the compressor. I mean, to remove it. All you have to do, I think, is 12 volts. There's give me 1 second. So the process to remove the compressor, it's 4 bolts that are holding the compressor, plus 4 bolts that are 12, and 2 bolts that are 10 millimeter that hold the lines. Once you remove the lines, you make sure that you seal the lines, the hoses, so you don't get any air inside, because it's all aluminum, raw aluminum, and you don't want to get that. You don't want to get any moisture inside the lines. So make sure you do that. Once you remove the compressor and you take out the belt, you're gonna have to make sure the new compressor has oil inside. So you have to bleed the compressor so you can get all the air in. I mean the PEG 134 oil inside. So once you do all that, you're gonna have to buy if you're gonna do the job yourself, you have to buy a vacuum pump. I'm gonna put the picture right now. Vacuum pump. I bought it at the Pittsburgh Harbor Freights for $160. It was a lot, but I needed it. So once you put in the new compressor inside, then you have to use the vacuum pump to remove any moisture. I did that for an hour, and for this vehicle specifically, you're gonna need about what do you need? There's no, where is it? For this one, you're gonna need about 460 grams, 520 grams. That's an equivalent to 1 pound, about 1 pound. So like about they supposedly the low you need the minimum 14 ounces, the minimum. The maximum about a pound, exact pound and 1 ounce. So you make sure you what I did was I just put one bottle, a small bottle, one can was 12 ounces, and I only did that because they say, the pros say it's better to fill it to a minimum than to a maximum, because the compressor, especially those type of compressors, they have the clutchless compressors. They you know, they're always compressing, they're always moving inside. It's always moving inside. So that's why I did that. And it's freezing cold and it works. But okay, so the flow sensor has to read about 2 point something volts if you have a scan tool. That's the flow sensor, that's the compressor, and that's what the flow sensor, the sensor needs to be at. If it's at 3.8, that's bad. When you're in the 4s, really bad. You're supposed to be in the low 2s, low 3s, in that range, to have a good running compressor. And it needs to be, you know, about 200 high pressure side. The low side is supposed to be like 35. So you make sure those readings are good, accurate. With the issue with my compressor is that during the winter or during the regular months when the weather was like around 70, the compressor, I mean, it did work a little bit, but since it got hotter and hotter, it stopped working. And that's what happens when you have a clutchless compressor. It's gonna work to time, but it's not gonna perform well at all when it's bad, when it's hot, really hot. So you gotta make sure that if you have your compressor more than 5 years, you gotta replace it if it's not working. Once you hit the 5-year mark, or that car's age is more than 5 years, replace the compressor. Don't try to troubleshoot nothing. Just replace it. I tried doing all this craziness troubleshooting. I replaced the expansion valve. I replaced the, what else did I replaced the dryer. I replaced the condenser, the dryer inside the condenser. I did all that. I mean, the dryers come with I mean, the condensers come with a dryer inside already. Just make sure you put oil inside, and also make sure the lines don't get any humidity or any air in it. Seal it every time. So that's how I got my compressor to work. And besides that, I had a few ground areas where I had really bad contact. I had a lot of issues with continuity with the ground, all the grounds in the system, because the car had an accident, and a few of the grounds, especially in the front by the battery side, between the bumper, you have to remove the bumper on the front bumper to the left side of the vehicle. Remove it, and there's going to be 2 bolts on the side of the car. Those bolts, if they're rusted or if there's paint over them, take off the paint or take off the rust, because those ground wires, there's 2. They belong to a lot of parts. They correspond to the compressor. They correspond to the intake air metering valve, the sensor. They also work with the throttle body and the AC pump. I mean the brake pump, the brake booster, all that. They all correlate to those grounds. So make sure those grounds are good, because you might have, if you have any issues. When it comes to the throttle body, air sensor, the brake booster cylinder, and also the power steering, all that correlates to that area, that ground area. And also between when you open the driver's side door, if you take off the moldings on the bottom side, there's also 2 grounds. Those grounds correspond to the there's the amplifier. The amplifier if you're the amplifier, that is where all the knobs go, where you turn on the AC and all that stuff. That's the amplifier. The amplifier regulates the whole system in the cabin, where the knobs, where you turn when you put the AC high, low, hot, cold. That there's an amplifier inside somewhere in the cabin. That amplifier, if it's not functioning right, if there's a ground missing or a bad ground, that amplifier will not function properly. So you make sure those grounds are good. And if you need a professional to see if that amplifier works. Because if that amplifier doesn't work and you're getting a code for an amplifier issue, then you got to replace the amplifier or make sure the grounds are good. Grounds is everything. I'm gonna put some information. Oh, by the way, there's that app called Copilot. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put it up in the image right now. I'm just gonna show you what Copilot. This is Copilot right here. Copilot. You ask it any with ChatGPT 4. You ask it any question about automotive question. You gotta be precise. Year, make, and model. The issue. It will tell you what the problem is, what the diagnosis. This thing will tell you everything you need to know when it comes to an issue in your car. It gives you the answers. So with those answers that they give you, the parameters that they give you, you could actually find a way to troubleshoot the issue of your car with Copilot. I recommend any mechanic, anybody that's into automotive, get Copilot. That app, that software is AI. I know some people don't like AI, but we gotta work with it, not against it. You know, we can't do nothing to change the course of history, all that stuff. So get with it or get lost, left behind. You know, that's just how it works. And I recommend using Copilot when you're having issues with a vehicle. And it's always good to have a scanner. If you don't have a scanner, you don't know how to use one, you got to learn it and understand how a scanner works. Because I was like, it's not the compressor, because I was all the troubleshooting I was doing, the compressor worked, it didn't work. I put AC in it. I put more. I took it off. It works and then it doesn't work, and it's just all these different moments, and it works and it doesn't work. So I'm like, there's something else going on, you know. But it was a compressor. It was a compressor and bad grounds. That's what my issue with my car. Everybody gonna have different issues, but at the end of the day, if you're having issues with the AC system, just replace the compressor. Just replace it. And it's $160 on eBay. So I did that and it works. And if you don't know how to fix cars, just go buy a compressor, receiver dryer, metering valve, and here, tell them replace that. They'll do it. You know, but don't let them buy the parts for you, because they get them for a good. They get them for cheap and they charge you a lot, you know, to get those parts. So unless you want original parts, which, I mean, it's a used car. You don't want to buy original parts for an old car, you know. What for, you know? So this is my recommendation. Hopefully it helps you out in some form, some way. I need to start making better videos when I repair my car, because right now that's the only car I have. I have my truck, but that's, my girlfriend uses that. I don't use that truck no more. She uses that, and I'm using her car for Uber and all that stuff. And and it had a lot of problems, so I'm fixing it more and more. So, you know, so yeah, if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe. And I'm sorry that these videos are pretty shitty, but I'll try to get better, and just don't have a lot of time to be editing videos and all that stuff. So yeah, all right, bye.